Welcome back to game number 5 here in the finals, already underway. Spawning here in the bottom left corner of the map, it's going to be Samsung Galaxy's Emotion.
And top right, as the Red Terran, it's MVP Center.
Okay, so Exhibition Loss is maybe an unfortunate map for this to boil down to. What are your thoughts on the way this one's going to go?
Honestly, I thought they were gonna cheese. It was gonna get really, like, you know, amped up really quickly, but it didn't. So that's fine too.
I would have, I wouldn't put it past Emotion to have done something like an Immortal Bust, but yeah, I don't know. We always just seem to the worst is assumed for this map, and a lot of it has to do with the back rocks. I really don't like how it appears the next season of ladder maps is going to have this trend followed as well, because I don't think there's ever been a game. Pardon me. It's getting bad now. I don't think there's ever been a game where we've seen those back rocks come into play and you're like, oh, that was epic, that was well played, that was fantastic, I'm so glad they're in the map. A lot of the times it's like these really disappointing engagements because either the aggressor takes the mistake of going through the back rocks, or it's really cheesy and you win because of the back rocks. I like the straight up games we've been seeing a little bit more frequently on this map, you know, barring Zerg players taking quick golds. But I really hope the next season of ladder maps aren't too back rock heavy. Otherwise, we're just going to see those vetoes go towards Exhibition Lost and the Team Liquid map contest ones every single time.
Yeah. I don't know. They're just the tactics might exist in TVT with like sieging up the back rocks and whatnot, but even that's a little questionable. But yeah, they just usually end in like pretty disappointing games. You know, I don't remember if you I don't know if you remember, I should say, the map they made that was very much so a port from Brood War. Not Fighting Spirit, but, oh god, what was it called? It was like with the Neoplanet S map pool in Kespa Pro League. You probably don't know this, but it had like, the back side of your base had a way into it that started like way on the other side of the map. So you'd start on the other side of the map, you'd go from like the very, very edge of the map in like this very narrow pathway, and you'd be able to siege up the back of someone's main and natural. Now how does that sound compared to back rocks?
Honestly, I mean, back rocks included here for a moment, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the way Polar Knight was. Kind
of. Similar idea. Similar. But even like, it was like, seriously, like if Expedition Lost is like, you know, like 2 feet off to the left of Emotion's base, you could get back there and kind of siege them up. I mean, that existed, but even that felt like it was more like tactical. Like, you know, you would be able to stall them out on the entrance point way on the other side of the map, or, you know, be able to just barely break out. Back rocks do usually just mean like Protoss busts you and you weren't paying attention and you go, oh, whoop-de-doo. I guess I lost because my spine collars weren't in position.
Oh man, spine collars.
Protoss. My friend has told me that apparently a very good move to do in ZVZ and like about Masters is to 7 Roach Rush on Expedition Lost, because no one ever prepares for the back rocks. And I'm like, 7 Roach Rush? Those are words I have not heard since 2011.
Yeah, you also don't know how to make more than 5, so that strategy probably isn't any good for you.
Dude, I really don't. You know, like it's not like a choice. It's not a choice, it's that I get supply blocks, and I'm like, oh, I guess you're gonna get 4. Oh, I guess you're gonna get 5.
How does Overlord work?
IDK. Macro player.
So, earlier in the cast, we had questioned whether we'd perhaps try and join Take TV for some Lotus matches today, but I gotta be honest, guys, when I said that, my lungs also weren't hurting, so I think we'll have to sadly put an asterisk in that one.
It's too bad. It is only, I think, 1 series.
Oh, is it? Maybe I can suck it up. I thought it was a lot.
That's what I'm reading.
I feel bad because we've had some really bad luck with communication and getting matches and schedules set up properly. But I mean, I really want to cast more of the Lotus League.
Yeah, it's not 100% lined up in Skype, the live report thread, and the thing that they submit. So like the live report thread says that Saturday, June 6th is only True versus Nurtio, but then the calendar says something different. So yeah, that's where a lot of confusion lies.
I think I'll just play. I need to get better. We keep casting so much. I don't give my lungs time to rest anyways.
Plus I gotta go shopping with my mom.
Oh yes, that's a big priority too. So of course.
You know what? My You only have a certain amount of time left with your parents, Rifkin. You gotta spend it with them.
That's so morbid and terrible.
I know. It makes me look sad. Well, the back rocks here are going to be used, but not abused.
Yeah, there's tanks, there's point defense drones. There's just no way Emotion breaks center. Not right now, at least.
Well, there's the fact that Center got tanks at all, though. So is it a question of him going to try and abuse the back rocks? Unfortunately, in PvT, tanks rarely do what you expect. You think you get 5 of them, you think they got a lot of splash, you think they're going to do well against Colossus, and only sometimes do they ever do.
I almost wish tanks had an upgrade that would give them more health, or some sort of armor upgrade, or something. Because, like, you gotta like, they're so fragile.
Well, okay. Besides that, just to make them better against Protoss, what if they got an upgrade that did something to shields?
Well, I don't know about that. Like, there's
like,
so many.
Like a mini EMP.
But that's the thing. Like, you shouldn't have to gimmick a whole race versus just shields, right? Like, the Widowmine does that. The EMP does that. There's a lot of situations where.
Are you for real?
Oh.
Are you for real?
Oh. Oh. I've never seen anyone do that, but I love it.
Like Marines killing an observer, Vikings killing an observer, that all is probably very painful and not good for the observer. But I feel like Secret mistering an observer, that's just mean. The observers don't really do anything. It's just
I think it's hilarious. I like it a lot. It did remove high ground vision too. But the reason I brought it up for the tanks is, like, you consider tanks are kind of like these units that they've got the range to deal with the Colossus, and there's situations where they're still good. Like, the tank is still a good unit. I don't think it needs to be buffed. It'd be kind of like an unnecessary buff. But there are times where I wish, like, it had just like a little more health. Context-wise here, like, a Stalker has about the same amount of health as a tank. Colossus has way more.
Oh, this is another 2-base all-in from Emotion. Last time we did this, it didn't quite work.
I never actually looked at it, but Colossus literally has, like, 2.5 times the amount of health the tank has.
StarCraft 2 tanks are balls. Brood War tanks are amaze balls.
Legacy of the Void does help fix that, though. I mean, the mobility that they bring through the medevacs has just given so much more viability to tanks. So, again, I'm sitting here whining and crying, but it's just like a numbers thing to look at. Legacy of the Void is changing up tanks in such a big, drastic, very important way.
Ooh, looks like he was not expecting him to use the back door. So his tanks aren't sieged. They could try and focus on the Colossus, but that rarely ever works. The PDD is very helpful here, and the force fields manage to disconnect most of the Marines, so the Colossus gets some really nice shots.
So much of the tanks not involved with this fight at any point, but the Colossus... Yeah, the Colossus is very awkward in the position, trying to run away from this. You know, Emotion is once again... I just realized the scoreboards are in the wrong way. I'm sorry, guys. Emotion, like, he goes for a Templar Archives. I think he was looking towards Archons a little bit later. There's no Storm. There's no upgrades. There's nothing for him behind us. He's playing really bare bones. And Emotion, well, it's awkward to have tanks like this. We'll probably... Or it's not Emotion where center. We'll probably be able to just push and win.
Yeah, probably. Doesn't have a ton of medevacs, but there's one that was just going to Widowmine drop coming back home for the final push. It looks like a center is going to reverse... Sweep. That's what I'm looking for. Reverse sweep. Emotion. Could he potentially get to Storm?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he could do something just because Storm's...
I don't think so, because this army is so Marauder tank heavy, right? It's not Marines that are going to get, like, annihilated by Storms.
Yeah. You would have to be, like, 6 Storms, too, and he can only afford 1 High Templar.
This is kind of cool, too, because let's not forget, tanks can get some really nice positioning here at the bottom of the ramp. Covering the top half of the ramp with this too. I mean, force fields is okay, a little bit annoying to have to work around, but the tank range should help make up for that for a little bit. It's Widowmine a little bit awkward, but still nice to see. Storm is done. So, unfortunately, he can't just charge in here super blind mode, but again, it might not be a problem. There's just so much in the terms of units. It's going to take some very severely bad control. Oh, I even love the bunkers coming down here. They're like little rain huts. Like, oh, it's a little bit stormy outside, guys. Hop inside the house.
The metal house.
Yeah. It's like a shipping container. Oh my god, why does Terra not have that? Just deployable shipping containers you can hide from the storm in.
Snake? What are you doing?
See the exclamation mark. Alright, so the Nexus is being pressured. I mean, Emotion is trying to build up as big of an army as possible, but there's no point if he loses the Nexus before any of that happens. Tanks gonna unfortunately waste a lot of shots on the Zealots. Tries to get the Colossus in the back. Does actually take that out, but oh, these Templar just getting stimmed upon. What little Marines that there were that got stormed moved right through and just killed the Templar. This is it. This is it.
Yeah.
It's a complete reversal. From 0-2 to 3-2. Centers on the verge of victory. Vikings still haven't even taken the time to land. Good game is called. Ladies and gentlemen, Center will take this series and win this week's OlimoLeague.
Yeah.
Now, this was kind of worrisome because you're like, damn, we thought